Alan Leo, born William Frederick Allen on August 7, 1860, in Westminster, London, is often celebrated as the father of modern astrology. His work in the late 19th and early 20th centuries laid the foundation for the contemporary practice of astrology, particularly the popularization of horoscopes as we know them today. Leo's contributions to astrology were not merely confined to technical innovations. He also played a pivotal role in shifting the focus of astrology from a fatalistic science to a more spiritual and psychological practice. Leo was born into a modest family. His father, William Allen, was a confectioner, and his mother, Catherine, was a housewife. Leo's early life was unremarkable in many ways, marked by the typical challenges of a working-class family in Victorian England. However, from a young age, he displayed a keen interest in metaphysical subjects, which would later evolve into his lifelong passion for astrology. Introduction to astrology. Leo's journey into the world of astrology began when he was in his early 20s. Initially, he worked as a traveling salesman, a job that allowed him to meet a wide variety of people and experience different cultures and beliefs. It was during this time that he was introduced to Theosophy, a religious movement that sought to explore the spiritual unity of all religions. Theosophy's emphasis on karma, reincarnation, and the spiritual evolution of humanity resonated deeply with Leo and influenced his later work in astrology. In the 1880s, Leo became more deeply involved in the study of astrology, which was still largely considered a pseudoscience in the West. At the time, astrology was primarily concerned with predicting events based on planetary positions, and it was often seen as a deterministic and fatalistic practice. Leo, however, saw astrology as a tool for understanding human nature and personal growth rather than merely predicting the future. Founding the Astrological Lodge of the Theosophical Society. One of Leo's most significant contributions to astrology was his role in founding the Astrological Lodge of the Theosophical Society in London in 1915. This organization provided a platform for astrologers to discuss their ideas and share their knowledge, and it played a crucial role in the development of modern astrology. The lodge attracted many prominent astrologers of the time and became a hub for astrological study and research. Leo's work was heavily influenced by theosophical ideas, particularly the belief in the spiritual evolution of humanity. He believed that astrology could be used to help individuals understand their spiritual path and align themselves with their higher purpose. This perspective was a significant departure from the traditional view of astrology as a tool for predicting specific events or outcomes. Instead, Leo emphasized the importance of free will and personal responsibility in shaping one's destiny. The birth of modern astrology. Leo's most enduring legacy is his role in the birth of modern astrology. He was a prolific writer and published numerous books on the subject, including Astrology for All, 1899, The Art of Synthesis, 1912, and The Key to Your Own Nativity, 1910. These works were groundbreaking in that they presented astrology in a way that was accessible to the general public, rather than being confined to the elite or academic circles. One of Leo's most innovative ideas was the concept of the sun sign horoscope. Prior to Leo, astrology was primarily concerned with the positions of the planets and their aspects in a person's natal chart. Leo simplified this by focusing on the position of the sun at the time of a person's birth, which he believed was the most important factor in determining a person's character and destiny. This idea became the basis for the popular sun sign horoscopes that are now a staple of newspapers and magazines worldwide. Astrology as a spiritual practice. A key aspect of Leo's work was his belief that astrology should be used as a tool for spiritual development. He argued that the planets and stars did not cause events to happen but rather reflected the spiritual state of the individual. According to Leo, understanding one's astrological chart could provide insight into one's spiritual journey and help individuals make better choices in life. This approach was heavily influenced by theosophical teachings, which emphasized the idea that humanity is on a spiritual path of evolution. Leo believed that by understanding the influences of the planets, individuals could gain insight into their karma and work towards spiritual growth. This perspective was revolutionary at the time and helped to shift the focus of astrology from a deterministic practice to one that emphasized personal growth and self-awareness. Legacy and influence. Alan Leo's influence on modern astrology cannot be overstated. His work laid the foundation for the psychological astrology that emerged in the 20th century, particularly through the work of astrologers like Dane Rudhyar and Liz Green, who further developed Leo's ideas about astrology as a tool for self-discovery and spiritual growth. Leo's emphasis on the sun sign as a central aspect of the horoscope made astrology accessible to a much wider audience. Today, most people are familiar with their sun sign, even if they know little else about astrology. This simplification allowed astrology to reach millions of people and contributed to its widespread popularity in the 20th century. In addition to his writings and teachings, Leo was also an influential publisher. He founded the magazine, Modern Astrology, in 1895, which became one of the most important astrological publications of its time. The magazine provided a platform for astrologers to share their ideas and research, and it played a crucial role in the dissemination of astrological knowledge. Leo's work also helped to legitimize astrology as a serious field of study. In a time when astrology was often dismissed as superstition, Leo worked tirelessly to present it as a science. He believed that astrology should be approached with the same rigor and discipline as any other field of study, and he was instrumental in establishing standards for astrological practice and education. Personal life and challenges. Despite his successes, Leo's life was not without challenges. He faced significant opposition from the scientific community, which largely dismissed astrology as unscientific and irrational. He was also involved in legal battles over the publication of his astrological works, as astrology was still a controversial subject in early 20th century England. Leo's personal life was also marked by tragedy. His first wife, Elizabeth, whom he married in 1886, passed away in 1909. He later married his second wife, Bessie, who was also deeply involved in theosophy and astrology. The couple worked closely together in promoting their astrological and spiritual ideas. Leo's health began to decline in the years following the death of his first wife. He suffered from heart disease, which eventually led to his death on August 30, 1917, at the age of 57. Despite his relatively short life, Leo's impact on astrology was profound, and his ideas continue to influence astrologers to this day. Conclusion. Alan Leo's life and work were pivotal in the transformation of astrology from a deterministic science to a tool for personal growth and spiritual development. His emphasis on the spiritual aspects of astrology, his pioneering work on sun sign horoscopes, and his role in founding the Astrological Lodge of the Theosophical Society all contributed to the development of modern astrology. Leo's legacy lives on in the millions of people who read their horoscopes and use astrology as a tool for self-understanding and personal growth. His work laid the foundation for the psychological and spiritual astrology that is now widely practiced and has helped to ensure that astrology remains a relevant and meaningful practice in the modern world. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe our channel.